Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this doesn't work. And a lot of times it doesn't work because, well, I mess it up. But let's get open for business. Let's wake up the football gods up here and bring you some more news. My man E2 Blues already talked about it, so definitely check him out about Taco Charlton as well as Law Nation. I got to check him out as well. Here we sit, 133 days, 23 hours. 12 minutes and 55 seconds from the kickoff of the 2018 season. And I got to tell you, this kind of surprises me that Taco Charlton may be used as trade bait. Some teams are interested in calling the Cowboys about his availability. Now, I got to tell you, I remember being in Philadelphia. Oh, God, Philadelphia. Talk about being in the belly of the beast at that draft. And the draft is funny because you never know what's going to go on. I don't do mock drafts. The reason I don't do mock drafts is it's useless because it's never correct. And if you put out 50 of them, you can say, well, I told you such and such was going to go to the Cardinals. But you also said 50 other people were going to the Cardinals. To me, it's not really that useful. But when the draft starts, you never know what's going to happen. And it can go in a totally different direction because all of a sudden, guys that you're thinking are going to be there, there's a run on those guys. And people panic. And they say, oh my God, we got to go ahead and jump in and grab one of these guys before it's too late. And it reminds me, it was a deja vu moment when Stephen Jones, boy, she still sounds bad. Wife's got the flu bug and I can hear her coughing down here. Stephen Jones had said, you don't want to be in the position of having to draft for a need because what happens is guys that you're looking at when you have a hole look better than what they may really look at. And I can equate that to going grocery shopping when you're hungry. Because you go grocery shopping and I need some milk, I need some eggs, I need some bread, okay, I need some meat so that way I can go ahead and have dinner, I need to get some vegetables. All that goes out the window when you're hungry. Because you see that bag of Doritos, you see that Snickers bar, you see some ice cream, and you're buying all these things that you didn't really need because you were hungry. And what happens is you get home and you chomp on all that stuff, and then the things you need, damn, I ain't got no bread to make a sandwich. I don't have any milk to dip these cookies in. Because you reached for something that you didn't need or reached thinking that that's what you needed. And that's where we were with Taco. When you look at where we were at the draft, we had seen Aaron Rodgers running around making plays on us in the playoffs like he always does. Not being able to get enough pressure on him to stop him. You thought about DeMarcus Lawrence. This is before DeMarcus Lawrence became a world beater and became the $105 million man. You had doubts about him, and I could dare say that maybe their careers are on a parallel. You had DeMarcus Lawrence, who was injured his first year. He had 2 sacks in the playoff game against the Lions. We won. And then the next year, he had a great year, 7 or 8 sacks. And then the following year, he had a PED suspension for 4 games and back surgery. So in your mind, you weren't thinking that this guy's going to get 14 and a half sacks. You were looking and saying, we have a hole we got to fill immediately. We need a pass rusher. And as we're watching that draft out there in the heat in Philadelphia with all those stinking Eagle fans around, you were seeing all these pass rushers that were going off the board. And with the Cowboys picking late in that draft, you thought to yourself, there's not going to be any of those guys that are going to be an impact player by the time the Cowboys get around the second round. And so they looked at Taco and they said he's got the length that we like and everything else. He's raw. He's only started for 1 year. But you know what? He's going to be able to plug in and play. And that's that case of when you're hungry, don't go shopping. And partially, it was the emergence of DeMarcus Lawrence that stunted his growth. He wasn't really put out there that much. It was like, okay, we got time. So he started playing well. Tyrone Crawford started playing well. So then he became forgotten. Then you had Charles Haley famously kind of question his football IQ and desire. In which case Taco said, who? Which is one of those things that, Taco, you don't do that. So he's been thus far a disappointment. Now, what I will say in his defense is he hasn't had the opportunities. And pass rushers take time to develop. Look how long it really took for DeMarcus Lawrence to become a great pass rusher. Pass rushers typically don't come out the box ready to rock and roll. So that was a reach. Now, what you're hearing is some teams may be interested in trading for him, and that he may be used as trade bait. The Dallas Cowboys, looking for an immediate impact, may say, you know what, we can trade Taco and move up in the draft and see what we can get. Now, the big question is what will you get for Taco, being that he was a first-round draft pick that has thus far disappointed? I don't think you're going to get a first-round draft pick. I mean, Frank Clark got a first, a second, and basically traded a third, swapped thirds for him. I don't think you're going to get that kind of deal. I don't think you can get a Khalil Mack deal. You going to get a second? I don't think so. At best hope, I would say a third. But then again, Michael Bennett was a fourth. So I don't know how much value you get, but maybe for both sides that this is a situation where maybe he might be better off elsewhere and a fresh start and things. We'll follow along with this, but you know what? It's going to get crazy because it's draft time. You know, you got the Redskins that may be trying to move into the top 5 to try and get Haskins. You got the Giants who are now thinking about quarterback. You got the Miami Dolphins that might be in the mix. So you're going to see some movement around and juggling where teams are thinking, if we can just get that one player. And you may be looking at the Dallas Cowboys saying, you know what, if we can get that safety or that defensive tackle or one of these guys that will make an impact, that they're going all in. And we know that they're going all in. That they may view Taco as a guy who really is not going to play much this year, and if we can get value for him to get somebody who will be an upgrade, then it makes sense. So hold on to your hats, guys. It's going to get crazy. I was going to be talking about Jason Witten and how he has everything in the tank, but we're sitting here with the draft. So hold on to your horses. This is a redo because I messed up and unplugged one of the mic plugs, and of course the sound wasn't good because, well, I'm just old. One of these days I'll have somebody who actually will take care of all this stuff, and all I got to do is sit down and talk. But as it stands right now, I ain't got that guy. So bear with me, guys. I'm Mark Holmes. Keep me up to speed with all that is with the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, one other thing too. Okay, one other thing. I almost forgot about this. Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh was at an event. I believe Alan Hearns was also at an event with some other players. And he was trying on about 10 different jerseys and happened to try on a New York Stinking Giants one as well as a Dallas Cowboy one. The question that I have is, understanding now how the NFL has evolved and changed because of compensatory picks. The New England Patriots are the masters of getting compensatory picks. They will let players go left and right because they know if it's a big enough contract that they sign, and we don't sign somebody to a big contract as well, we're getting another pick. And that pick, be it a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth round draft pick, is real cheap as opposed to paying a free agent. So what you now have is the first wave of free agency where teams will go through and get the cream of the crop, or the guys that they believe will be the one to take them over the top, the big kahunas. But then, as you get that first level off, teams will slow down and they will wait until after May 7th. Because that's when free agency technically kind of ends as far as compensatory picks go. In which case, the value of those guys have gone down because most of the teams have spent their money. They've blown their wad. And so now you've got Ndamukong Suh who's out there. He's getting up there in age, but is still a guy to be feared. He's not an every down player, but he could be a big push in the middle when you need it. And now the question is, because he's looking for that $13, $14 million a year, He's made a boatload of money. And sitting around and not being picked up may be a little slice of humble pie. And what might be sitting in the back of his mind is more than a paycheck. It's maybe the opportunity for me to get one of these, get a ring. And I'm wondering if that has changed his attitude on how much to get paid. Because I don't think he's going to get that 13, 14 million that he was looking for. And after the draft, after the dust clears from that, teams are going to be looking at players that they got drafted that they didn't think they were going to get. So you're going to see some more people on the market. And it might be just the opportune time to say, Ndamukong, listen, dude, we'll do an incentive-laden contract. We believe we are a team that can challenge for that ring that you want. We'd like to bring you in, have you part of the equation, but we don't have much money to go. All we can say is the opportunity to be in Big D, where you can definitely become a star, and you can be an integral part of us getting that ring. Come on, Ndamukong. What you gonna do, man? So that's where we are, guys. Dallas Cowboys are all in, and we'll see if it pays dividends. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.